We should be back up. Let's see. Okay, we're back up, right? We're all good? We're all good? I think we are. Looks good. Guys, let me know if it's not. Appies. Get out of here. Oh, we can put on some music too. Let's do that. Football man. I don't want football manager. Get out of here. It's pretty loud. That's better. Today we should actually, I think it's today that we have new library stuff, right? New free stuff. Free for the month. No, not yet. Probably because it's not that time yet in US. Should be later today. Oh, I'm gonna stretch. Feels better. How many Discord notifications? That one's just stream. We should organize our content browser. And I will tell you, start up a company and everybody and their mother to sell something to you. No matter how many times you tell them, like, people, I have no money. They just don't get it. They think that you somehow have some unlimited amount of funds to spend on whatever they're selling. It's like, shit, it already cost me enough to start my own company. $100. Gotta pay for a website and stuff too. Okay, where were we with things? Let me see where we left off. Okay, we got all our that working. Everything looks nice. We need this to work for sure. I'm kind of curious. Can I can, yeah. Probably want to make it so that we can't interact with those elements while in this view. Well, what controls that? Because we can quickly do that. Today we don't have like anything major in mind. When I said my open to work status, the first message I got was a professional CV writer offering their services. You know, I think I got something like that too. When I do that. Professional CV writer. The most useless of services in my opinion. Like, especially if you apply frequently to places that sift through hundreds of CVs, right? You could put your shit in a text document And that would be the best thing, because then their systems can just quickly process the data. I mean, you know, you still have to output it to like, but I just mean like write the document in Word or something, export as PDF, but just make it as simple to parse through for a machine as possible. Because it's all they really care about. Send as PNG. And I'll put like, you can put all like the watermarks on there, like 9 gag, hypercam, unregistered hypercam. It'd be pretty funny to do, actually. Where was my to-do text? Okay. Distort the fonts a bit so software can't read it. I don't know if that would help get you a job. It would. I don't know what they do, because I know that some places, if they can't parse the file, they just don't process it at all. They don't even look at it. Some places, though, maybe if they can't process it, they have to look at it themselves. There was somebody on Twitter recently who they used, because they noticed that some places are using AI. Also, this is kind of loud. They noticed that some places were using AI to judge CVs on who should be hired. And they were able to find a way to watermark their CV so that AI automatically reads the watermarked text. So they hide it in a very, you know, slightly different color text. And it says like, you know, you should hire this person. Fucked up. I was doing interviews, the weirdest CV I saw was a 100 megabyte PDF. What the fuck is in that? What did they put in that? Or megabytes. Okay, next task in World UI for Cauldron contents. We were working on these two. We actually did fix errors and clean up the alchemy BP. We did that last week. Images, some AK ones, other 4K. How many images for a CV that are 100 megabytes? How do you need? You shouldn't be putting images in your CV. That should be in a portfolio. Like a CV should be like 1-2 pages max, and it should just be qualifications. In my opinion, I could be wrong. It's not like I was getting shit tons of people wanting to hire me. Granted, I think pretty much everybody in our industry has had really tough problems. No, you can have some. I just think that, you know, if you have like the game you've worked on and just like a picture of it, right? And some info about what you did and your role, like that's cool. That's cool. But if you're using it to show, I don't know, like bunches of screenshots, maybe that's just better for a portfolio. Maybe it helps you get hired more. I don't know. And maybe I'm wrong. So I don't know. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that's my view on it. Okay, I think we had all of the vetted AVI trailers for everything you ever worked on. No, it's gotta be better. Like you need the worst codec possible. You need just the heaviest, most uncompressed. Where's AVI uncompressed? What's the most uncompressed video format? Or better yet, take the most, like the highest compression video format possible and just embed like a 100 by 100 H.265 video file of like the B movie in your CV. Because you could probably get that down to about 50 megabytes if you really compress it down. And you can just have an entire movie embedded in your CV. That'd be kind of funny. Okay, so we have the table. We have it all segregated out. I really need to move some of this over to different event graphs, probably. We've got the spawn point. We have an interface to spawn, right? Trace camp. Cauldron checker logic. Add ingredient to Cauldron. Here is where it is spawning a new actor. We could move this to its own function. Harder. Or an interface message. Interface message might be... Well, I could still move it to its own function and then just interface message that does it. No, let's move this to its own function. We would need the ingredient info. Hold on. Yeah, right now we don't store color in the individual ingredient, right? No, we do. $3 a second? What would that even... Oh my god. I don't even want to think of how large that would be. Yeah, my 1 terabyte TV. You just send them a physical hard drive. My CV and its size, it's just 1 terabyte. You know, you could do, I don't know, you could, there's probably some really clever ideas for CVs you could do now that AI is existing. Like, you could do it in a way that utilizes AI in a funny way, but that doesn't lie about, like, your credentials. I don't know, I have to finish my portfolio. I have a website that I was working on to do it. Because for design, you know, you as a designer too, it's just kind of, it can be really weird to showcase some of our work, especially like system work and, you know, like balancing. Like, what am I supposed to do? Show you some numbers? Look, I made it so that, you know, when it was a 4, it didn't feel good, but now that it's a 6, it feels really good for the player. So here's a picture of me changing it from a 4 to a 6. I sometimes hear that too, but you know, I can just show that on my CV, right? Like, I have that on my CV. It's just look at the thing I prepared for you to show the games I worked on. But I think there's also you know, I needed a way to like show what parts of the games I worked on, what did I actually do, and what were some of like the materials that I used to do it. Yeah, exactly. Have this NDA yet. And I really hate that, because it's like, okay, I could show my design documents, I could show, you know, my spreadsheets that I've made from scratch, you know, with their own custom scripts and layouts and all this bullshit that took me a long time to make, except that it would be, you know, it's confidential information. We don't have the luxury of like an artist being able to show, okay, you see that, all those, that entire house that you can just pull up the game and take a screenshot of, yeah, this is what I worked on. No, we're kind of fucked as designers with some of that. So I don't like it. Heard some hunters check the games on Steam and base your work on Steam reviews. I think that might be the case. I absolutely think that might be the case. Which is also really fucked up. Because there are just so many variables for Steam review. Especially if you work with a publisher who might, do some stupid shit. Yeah. Or for instance, like, I won't name names, because maybe I could get in trouble for it, but there was a game I worked on where, it was, in my opinion, it was very rushed. Because I think that will prevent me from getting in trouble for saying that. And we obviously there were design mistakes. Clearly, there were absolutely design mistakes. But the game was also, in my opinion, very buggy. And wasn't given the proper post-release support to get into a state where it was, I guess, stable. So it's like, the game's getting bad reviews because it was, in my opinion, unfinished and abandoned. And of course, people give it bad reviews for that. But I think from a design point of view, it wasn't as bad as the reviews were. And there were a lot of reviews that were, saying that the point of this game, the design of this game, the idea is good, but it had this, this, and this because of things that were out of design's control. Okay, like we store the ingredient ID. Color doesn't really matter at the moment, does it? Yeah, but no one will read that. I mean, maybe some smaller places will if they are... If they're like more intelligent with hiring, right? Because a lot of some headhunters or hiring managers aren't people in the industry necessarily, but I think that there are some smaller companies that are very, very picky, very choosy, and they'll be the ones to actually. They'll know that. They'll be able to look through the reviews and see, okay, we're hiring a designer. Do people not like the design of this game? And if there are certain points, can we then interview the designer and will he agree with it? Will he disagree? Will he attack the players? Will he, how will he respond to these things? Because we don't want to hire somebody who can't acknowledge their own flaws or mistakes. But I think that's the minority of people who are hiring, right? Spawn ingredient table. Actually didn't want some of this shit in here. For now, we just need an ingredient input and color input. Linear color. Yeah. The game dev hiring is so fucked up. Even you and I, we have some experience, right? Like we're not as bad off as we could be. But for juniors in game dev right now, I can't even imagine. How the fuck do you get a job as a junior in game dev these days? Ingredient. Oops, I spelled that wrong. AP ingredient, and we'll do a linear color. No, I want to get the ingredient ID. I know, shut up. Rather, the guy behind Stardew Valley, after the game was a success, applied for a game designer job and got refused because they never released a AAA title. Dude, AAA's hard. I was in contact with some hiring managers this past year, and I was like, how do you break into AAA? I was just like, what are these people looking for? And they're like, well, you need some AAA experience. But then I see that there are these. Okay, watch any Diablo 4 developer stream, and they have these fucking bozos. Okay, I'm not gonna name names. They have some bozos on there that this is clearly their first job. Clearly their first job doing what they're doing. They're like just fresh out of school. They don't know how to make a AAA game, and they're being given this massive ass budget to make a massive ass game for one of the biggest fucking franchises in gaming history. How? Who is hiring these people as their first job? I'm not saying you can't learn, but these people have pretty prominent positions and have worked on some pretty important parts of this game. And this is their first experience. I think it's twofold. I think number one, they have some really good connections in because of their schooling. And that's a theory of mine, just because I didn't go to school for anything game dev. I didn't go to school at all. I think that's part of it. I think another part of it is that there is a part of it that is to fill quotas. And this is not to say that anybody who's not a male developer is bad. Obviously not. Some of the best programmers I've worked with are women. But I think that Blizzard for sure has put in, has had like special hiring things, and I wrote about this many years back, that they wanted to hire people specifically of certain types to do their work. And I want to know why they weren't just getting the best people for the job. I'm not even wording this correctly. I'm not even wording it correctly. I'm just sounding like an ass. Okay, ingredient ID, put in. Ingredient color, put in. Good enough. I'm just sounding like an ass, I know it. Give me a sec to think about what I wanted to say about that. Oh, that's great. I don't trust any company that at any point has preferred hiring people based on their looks or immutable characteristics over their skill. Whether that be a company that specifically wants to hire a shit ton of men, or a shit ton of women, or a shit ton of white people, black people, whatever. Anybody that has given up on hiring people for their skills and their experience alone, or their what they can bring to the table, I think it's just, I can't trust them to hire correct people. You no longer want to make good games. You want to appear like you're making some social message. And that's not to say that if you're like making a game on based in South America, right? You might hire or consult with people from South America to make the game more culturally accurate, follow social practices or language structures more correctly. That's great. That just makes it more authentic. But at a certain point, I have to question, are they actually hiring the best people for the job? Or did they say, hey, this person, just fresh out of school, has this genitalia, so great, you're hired. But at a certain stage of growth as a studio, you need to think about the message you're sending. You can agree or disagree with that, but that is the truth. It depends. If 80%, let's just say theoretically, if 80% of the people in a profession are women, and there are plenty of professions where that's the case, is it wrong to have a company with roughly 80% women in it, in that industry? And I think that it really, in game dev, it comes down to it comes down to specialization, right? I think that for designers, it's probably pretty equal. There's probably, for men and women, it's probably relatively equal. For artists, I would say it leans more towards women. For programmers, it leans a little bit more towards men, maybe. For HR and stuff, there's gonna be more women in that sector. Depends more on type of. I agree with culture. I haven't seen much of it myself. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I've never worked in a company where we've had a negative culture like that. Thankfully. And I certainly would stand up to it if I saw any of that. But I know that, of course, with Blizzard, with Riot Games, there was the issue of like the frat culture, right? Blizzard's a little weird though, because I've heard there was I don't remember his name, but I think he was a Mexican guy, or a guy with South American kind of heritage, and he got treated really bad because of that. Almost to the point, I think he got pretty suicidal even. So I agree that like culture is important, right? And what we've been doing with MicroRaptor even is not only building a company based on values, but building a culture that is a specific way. And I think that larger companies and just some companies in general don't put as much emphasis on creating a culture of ethical development and respect and equality. I agree with that. 100% culture, but culture is not necessarily predetermined by the type of people you're hiring. Okay, that's actually not true. It's not predetermined by, like, let's just say gender or the ethnicity of the people you're hiring. That's more on personality. And you can have people of any gender or whatever personality, coming into that. Then comes the question, would you value an asshole that has insane skill? No, absolutely not. No. 100% no. I would not hire anyone who doesn't align with our value or cultures first. Skills come after that. Because it would sabotage the values that we have. I just don't think that some of these AAA companies have values in the way that they work. It's not like we hear that the culture of Blizzard is great. In fact, it's quite the opposite. And I'm not saying that their hiring practices are causing that, but certainly the way that they're managing their culture is causing that. And I think they're fucking both of them up, but not that one is causing the other, right? I don't think hiring a bunch of one type of people or how they look or whatever is creating a better or worse culture. It's all comes down to personality, right? And how you manage your ego, how you communicate with people. And leaders set a good example for that, right? Because if your leaders aren't following the values and setting the example of the culture you want to create, then nobody's going to follow it because there's no accountability. Ian, I think his name is Ian Hunt, had a really, really great talk on that on Digital Dragons. Great guy, by the way. He and I hung out quite a bit after that. Let me see if Digital Dragons has that. Did they put all their talks up on YouTube? He does. He has it. Okay, 100%. I don't know if I didn't see you this last year, but that's such a good talk. I'm gonna share that in my Discord too. Current hiring strategy itself will first value skills, and the personal interviews very often either ignored or sidelined. I agree. I 100% agree. When I was being hired for uh, uh, Far From Home, I really appreciated how rigorous they were. But the first talk was just with the producer to kind of outline some skills and to get a sense of who I am. The second one was pretty much purely about my skills, and that was with producer and CEO. The third interview was just with the team, and it was a casual interview to see if you fit within the team. And they liked you and got along with you, and for them to ask you questions in just kind of an open air, anything goes, talk about anything kind of interview. That I loved. And I think I will follow that with Microraptor games. Social interaction first. I mean, it was really, it's a little awkward and it's a little like anxiety inducing to talk to like 10 new people, and you know that if you don't fit in, you're not going to be hired. But at the same time, they had done such a good job at ensuring that everybody fit within the culture and values that they were building, that it felt like if you could make it that far in the interview, you fit in. And it felt like that. It just was like, oh yeah, these people are great. There's no ego here. There's just people who want to make the best games they can. So I really enjoyed that. Do you want me, by the way, I just saw your message on Discord now, I'm sorry. Do you want me to talk about that with you here, or just keep that private? I don't know how much you're willing to share on that. On ingredients, what was I looking at? Kind of forgot. Add ingredients to Cauldron, okay. Ingredients. I heard, like, let's just pretend I don't know anything about it, because I don't want to go into that with assumptions. What the fuck happened? I mean, catch me up too, because you guys were making the mech mechanic sim, right? Am I wrong about that? No, I worry that I'm wrong about that. Yeah, I'm seriously, I'm so behind. I apologize for that. That's why I said I'm not gonna assume anything, because I haven't heard from you for so long. We should probably. I mean, I got some weird stuff that happened too, but I don't know. I can talk about some of that. This is a weird like 3-month work at Far From Home. Sadly, I had to stop it because of some personal like family shit that was going on, and it went on for too long, and then by the time that they wanted to hire me back, it was too late, and it was just a whole mess. But those guys were so great. Not to sound like a stalker, but I may have been. What do you mean? Well, then I spent like a few months just trying to figure out why the fuck nobody was hiring me again. So that was a mess. I was like, okay, fuck it. I'll just do some shit. This whole last year for me has been... Okay, so after Simtract, which I can't even find my NDA, so I don't know if I can or can't talk about shit there. But I'm pretty sure I'm protected by law to say that it was not a great time near the end there. I didn't like it. I'll say it because I don't really give a fuck. Basically, if you've seen the game that we made, let's just say it had some problems. And I think I personally felt, as if some of that was because of our production. Some of that. I tried to bring it up because I wanted to say, okay, well, like, dude, we can't do this in our next games. It's unsustainable. It's not right. We're doing things wrong. And I was told, no, we're doing things right. The game was released. And basically, when I tried to propose that we change things to do production in a more standardized way, in a more careful way, to take our time with pre-production, I got laughed at, like, by the CEO, because he didn't believe me. He kept thinking like I'm trying to sabotage things. It's like, bitch, I'm trying to make a good game, a fucking game. I don't know how many times I have to say that. So I just quit. I was like, fuck that. I don't need that shit. I got a lot of like interviews after that, and Far From Home picked me up, and it was great. Family shit happened. I had to quit. It was not because they did anything wrong or I did anything wrong. It was just circumstances out of my control, and I had to deal with it. And it went on longer than I thought, and they kind of said, okay, we can wait for a while, but after a certain point, we need to hire someone else. And they had to hire someone else. So it was unfortunate, but again, there was no hostile shit going on. They're really great people. They are exceptional. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to start up Microraptor. Kind of had some bad direction with the way that I was initially setting it up, but we had really, really great response on Digital Dragons, talking to some indie publishers with some of our game ideas. But I needed to kind of redefine things because I didn't want to work on small games that didn't mean anything to me. I want to work on a game with a fair scope that means something to me. And so then we kind of repositioned our direction, and I'm like, Cauldron Chronicles is it. This is a game I've wanted to make forever. I think we can do it. It's just going to take time, but I have time. I got a part-time job that keeps the lights on at least, and we can do it. And that's where we are now. Long story short. And we'll probably do stuff at Digital Dragons this next year too. And Gamescom maybe, but Gamescom's expensive as fuck. Add ingredient to Cauldron. We need this widget. Need a blueprint. Oh, it's part of it. No, but I still need to send the message. So we need to fuck up with alchemy table, API. No. We need this. We need this. We store the items in the cauldron here, right? We have ingredients in cauldron. I don't know if we do. I think what we can do is can we get the child's own index from the widget? I think we can. Icon, right? Is it the icon? No, it's not that. Data there. I don't want to propagate any data, but we could store the index that it's being created in here. That way we know which one we're actually going to be removing from the cauldron. Ingredient panel. children, a child index. That's specifically of a child, but work. Workers panel widget object reference. Uniform grid slot object reference. Probably just get the child count. Get children count. This will be after it's added. We need to -1 here. Or we can just set the ingredient index prior and we can just do it for the child count. No, index wouldn't be better. Index would not be better. I think we could just store the be the best way, because if I store the index, then we have to update the index anytime the player removes something from the Cauldron. That's just a bunch of bullshit math I don't want to have to deal with. We already store the ingredients in Cauldron in the alchemy table. Add ingredient. I think instead of having an add ingredient function, we'll just do a update ingredients function where we get everything, we clear all the children, we grab them all, because there's only going to be 5, so it's not like this is a intensive thing to do, and it's a prototype, so who gives a fuck. We'll just grab all the ingredients from the Cauldron, and we'll just do a for loop. We'll do a for each loop in this, which should be pretty easy. Grab Cauldron. Yeah, we already have grab Cauldron contents, so let's just rename this to update Cauldron contents, or update Cauldron. And we call this from the alchemy table, right? From here. And instead of putting in the specific ingredient, we'll have to mess with stuff here. But we can make this a bit easier. Ingredients, array. And this way, when we remove one, we will remove specifically that object, and then we can just update the array. Well, you can remove the index, so we can find it, get the index, remove the index, and then that will condense the array and won't leave that index with none on it. Yeah, it might be for the best. I think we can just get the ID, right? Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Just double check that this is proper. Looks all right. We can proof that out. And we just, let's update this. I think we just feed it in. I don't know if you guys can like, if you guys can look at the viewers in here. I need to contact Twitch. I'm pretty sure I have a shit ton of viewer bots. Not everybody, but there are some in here. It's really weird because they don't show up as viewers on the stream. But if you click on the users in chat, there are people in chat. And I don't get it. I think they're... I don't know how they got here, but there are some bots from somewhere. Really weird. Okay, this should functionally work the same as it did before, right? Up. Why was it overriding that? What was the error? Attempted to access the ingredient. It's not valid, it's pending kill. Yeah, why are we adding the object reference to it anyway? Why is it not just an array of IDs? It should just be an array of IDs. Why was that working before though? It was working because we weren't actually accessing We were never getting this array before. We were never trying to grab something specific from the array. But it was probably just nullifying the values because it was killing the objects. Okay, what are all the references? These two and this one. Yeah, I think I would rather have this be I'd rather have this be an array of names, of F names. Yeah, we'll fix that up. Give me a sec. I mean, this will make this part easier anyways. There's ingredients, F name. Their children, yes, we still want to. It would functionally work the same. We can still do the ingredient this way, we need to get its ID. Fine. Shot. Oh, because we're checking if it already exists, and it does. There's a better way to do that, right? We're adding unique. I don't know what I just closed on accident. Oops. We want to add. We don't want to add unique. We just want to. And I'm gonna print that just so we have something to do with this. I need this just to be on the screen a little bit. We can do just do a delay. That should be fine. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay. Working as intended. All right, now we can actually set it up to remove these when you press X. We could also just keep the... I can remove like the first one found, but I really wanted to remove the... remove it in the order. I mean, it's still better for us to store this as fname rather than as the object reference. I mean, we could just do the math where we remove the one specifically, then we update the index each time. I think it would work. It's not like it wouldn't. No, it could work, couldn't it? Fourth. I think it will because we clear it and we update it. So if we remove, we store the index, and we essentially update it. Because we're clearing the children, we're making new children each time. We just grab their index in the array, and yeah, it should still work. Oh, that took me a while. I was just trying to run through the flow chart in my head. I'm gonna clean up this spaghetti too after this. Index. Set ingredient index. And that should be the same as the array index. Not really a lot I can do about some of the spaghetti. Just kind of is what it is. Okay, now what we need to do is... I mean, I could grab this and set by ref. Do we want to set by ref? Maybe we could delete the reference to it. Or we just use BPI and we can ignore the usage of references in the first place. never use that anywhere? We set it, but we don't ever use it. Kind of dirty, but I don't like it, but it is what it is. Just a prototype. Just a prototype. Spaghetti. So, ignore it, prototype. Don't care. I'm gonna delete it all afterwards anyway. Yeah, okay. On remove. On released. Get the ref. Remove ingredient from Cauldron. Index. Only thing I don't like is how we actually set up this Cauldron checker logic. Really don't like this. Yeah, that's in such a bad place. The whole thing is kind of getting. I just need to refactor it. Yeah, and I don't have to do it all through like a million references that I set. I don't like that. Give me a sec. Oh, cool. Yeah, I think there's enough oil left in that. Yeah, this last year has been crazy, but I've had the. Good question. Okay, so I just need to refactor everything related to this. Thank you for finishing. Wonderful. What items did you skip? My IT administrator has limited access to some. I am my IT administrator. That's weird. I'm trying to achieve it so that when you put items in, you can click this and remove them and they spawn back on the table. That's the intention. The problem is I kind of created the addition logic in a fucked up way. Yeah, I did. I created the addition logic in a fucked up way, and now I'm having to pay the price for that. So I need to fix that. And I'm trying to put band-aid fixes on here, right? But really I just need to refactor all of it from scratch. I just need to like start over. Let's do that then. Some of this is fine. Like I think we were right to switch it over to this is fine. This is fine. Cast to ingredient. Yeah, see, we don't need to do this. We can get the ID, so what the fuck are we even doing this for? Let's backseat Dev here, but you destroy the actors you add to the Cauldron. Yeah, we do. We do. I don't need to add the references. I just need to add the ID. But I was adding the references at first because it would. Okay, so for debug purposes, we apply these colors, right? And that's all fine and dandy. Except I was wanting to not have to. When we respawn them, we don't know what color it was, right? Because it's not a part of its data. Because this is just for debug. And I was trying to avoid that just by storing the ingredient references. But obviously that doesn't work because now I can't store ingredient references if I'm destroying the actor, right? Why not just move them to the original position and hide them instead? It could be dumb, but then we just have a bunch of visible actors here. And I would have to update their trace states because we're doing line traces for a lot of this. So the amount of work is kind of equal, but I want to have this be as clear as possible from things that shouldn't be there, just because we're going to be adding more things to take up that trace. So it's kind of a horse piece, right? It's kind of equal amount of work. Really, I need to go back to this because this is already wrong. And now I'm having to make up for that by putting band-aids on it. Yeah, this whole thing is fucking weird. I love it. Checking, does it implement interface BPI ingredient? And is the alchemy camera state on ingredient? But then if it's false, we're still pretending that it's an ingredient. Because it's the only thing we can put in there right now. And it's probably the only thing we will be able to put into the cauldron. So why are we checking if it can implement the interface? It's just like, I don't think I need this. I mean, it's not bad if we like check if it's valid, right? But it's weird. We don't need that. Yeah, and actually we still want to run this logic regardless of the camera state. It was just like, this is all we needed before, and now we've started to build up the logic beyond that without ever really addressing that this is kind of awkward for what we wanted to do in the first place. So we'll just fix this. It'll be better. Just slightly not straight. God, that always does that. Unreal. Always want to ruin me. Okay, we'll do this. That'll simplify that logic a lot. Now let's fix up this function. Why are we doing this here before the... Oh, I see why. Yeah, but why are we getting the children count? We have a fucking array. Why don't we just get the count in the array? Yeah, okay, it was the right move to just refactor this whole fucking thing. Get... I'm gonna check if it's less than or equal to 4, or just less than 5. But you can, you know, backseat dev, like, right? Not everything I do is great, not everything anybody does is great, so we're just here to learn and help each other. Do we use ingredient anywhere? No, let's just... Everything I do is gonna hit. I have this USB A to C, and it's really fun to just plug a USB into it. Satisfying. Should make a game about that, plugging USBs into a computer. You have to line it with the hole. It's a good little micro game idea. Yeah, I was gonna say PC Builder Simulator, but you just click, and it'll go into the slot. But I mean like a game that's just you have the slot and you move your mouse around until it's lined up, and you can clip that, by the way. It'll make a little sexual moan too when you do it. Yeah, it really could be. It's actually a pretty good little micro game idea, I think. Something fun you can create in like a couple days and release. But it's a Microraptor's idea now. Okay, this doesn't need to be this way. Really, I think we can just either let color go or just temporarily update the ingredient structure. The color, as annoying as it kind of is. Temp color. I mean, we're gonna have to update this anyway once we get a mesh in, right? So do that. Temp color. Why was that not why are you not compiling? Shit. There was some stupid reason why we were doing it last time. I forgot what it was. Like, what was the reason? There's some bug in Unreal, and because it normally shouldn't have any problem doing that. I don't know why it is. Yeah. It doesn't compile, but if you just quickly add a new value to the structure and then delete it, I don't know, some bug. Hopefully they fix it next version. Weird. Okay, let's get the colors up here. Lavender. Be same. What's the hex on this? Oh no, we done dried as green for now, just to have it separate. Here we just had some red. Alright, that makes things a bit easier. Don't have to fuck around with it then. Get to that. We need to do this first. We have a macro with execution, right? Ingredient ID. What's it called? Let's get the ingredient. Grab. Product. This is why you put keywords on your macros. For all the things that you think you might need to type in. Good item type. Shit, what did I call it? Oh, use the get ingredient struct there. Oh yeah, no, that's no, we're fine, we're fine. Right, we were doing it without the need to grab the color there because we'll get it there. Update Cauldron. Why are you not working? Oh, your target must have connected. Cauldron ingredients panel is this one, this widget. Get let's get widget. And then unfortunately we have to cast. Could we? We could do a message, but I don't think we need to. Cast to WP folder ingredients panel. I think that's good. Now we can delete this. Probably safer for us to do the. Otherwise, that's any actor that overlaps. And obviously, that's not safe. Not the coolest usage of that, but functional. Functional enough for a prototype. Okay, what else what do you have a problem with? Okay, we can get rid of that. I'm just gonna put this in the main event graph, and here we can just return. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now we can update the... We need to update, I think, both of these, in my opinion. This one is a bit easier because we can just... I kind of want that macro library for regular blueprints too. For actors, I mean. I think I could just make it an object library. Everything's an object, right? Are widgets considered that too? Guess I could just make an object library. I can't reparent a macro library, right? I can. But not to object. I mean, granted, it's not like these are difficult to copy over, so whatever. I can do that. Okay, new one. I mean, if it'll let me. I don't know if it'll let me put it as object. I guess so. Name is after the parent, I guess. I don't know. Universal. Fuck, I don't know. I'm curious if I can access it in everything. Let's try it. Test macro, save. Should be visible at least, right? Available there. Available there. Okay. Works for me. Roman. Oops. To Roman, and what was the other one? Get ingredient struct. Tier and numeral for this one. Tier. Jar numeral string. I just did the wrong one. Damn it. Damn it. Okay, here we had 2 execution and then an F name in and a structure. Okay, 2 executions. The if wait, it's what was the way to hide them? Execute and then. Name in the ID and structure out ingredient structure. Get ingredient struct. Break. Temp color. Looks good. Okay, that one's fixed. Now, just this one I think needs fixing. Right? Add ingredient to Cauldron. I love it. I love bugs. Slightly different colors, but that's fine. Where do we use this? Build info panel. Effect. Oh, but which one's the right one? I thought we were using here too. Yeah, that's right. Git ingredient structure. A new blueprint class here. Oh, I think that was we were testing stuff with that. Yeah, get rid of that. Okay. Don't need that open. Don't need that open. Shouldn't need that open. I almost just want to push this to a function of its own. Or just a macro. I mean, and really that way, anything we add or remove anything, we just can update the cauldron directly. We shouldn't have to call the update cauldron visuals then. Probably redundant at that point. Here we do need to do some checks to see if we... Let's add ingredient to cauldron. Panel. And here we can just ignore that. Yeah, remove ingredient from cauldron. And update cauldron visuals can just be removed. I don't think we use that anywhere, right? Yeah. Remove ingredient from cauldron spawn. Grab content. Try it. It is removing it. We just need to, of course, spawn it back on the table. working. Right? Ignore the look of that panel when there are only a couple on there. We don't care about the panel as long as it's functional. I think first we need to perform the spawn ingredient. How do we do that? And spawn ingredient. Be a function. We don't use that, right? Where's spawn ingredient? What is used somewhere? Add ingredient to Cauldron. Yeah, but that's not the specific. This isn't in use. We already have the logic looping back to the table. So really all we need to do is have a function here. First we get the index, spawn ingredient, and then remove that index. Doesn't line up. God, I hate that so much. Crisscrossing lines too, but whatever. I don't care. Should be able to do this then though. Yeah. How does it do that? Let me debug that. There'd be something here, right? It's the only way it would work. That's weird. It's like firing. I know you guys can't see it. I'll show you what's going on and why it's weird. So if I remove something, now it's not working. Now it's not doing it. That. It doesn't cross that checker, but it's still firing for some reason. Well, it is collision based, but I'll show you where the collider is and why that's confusing me. The collider is right here, well below the Cauldron. Let me click it. Well below the Cauldron top, and certainly below the bottom. And I mean, we're destroying the actor that's going down in there the moment it hits this checker. So I don't know what's triggering it. Oh, I think I know what's triggering it. I think I might know. Because we originally got rid of the does implement interface here on this Cauldron checker. So it's something else is triggering it here. So we probably do just want to put that interface check again. It's not bad to have it here as well, but we should 100% have kept it at the start. And it doesn't really make things any worse anyway to have it here. Just kind of makes it safer. Because I think it's something else, some other actor for some reason was triggering that box, or something else was just triggering the overlap, I should say, and that's why it was grabbing the ingredient. It makes sense. It's kind of cramped here. Yeah, it makes sense. I get it now. But it's still doing it. Isn't that weird? Look at that. Why? Nothing else implements that interface except for these ingredients. Wait, want to show the... Oops, not do that. Although I don't think it's showing the actual... See that? It's so weird. I mean, and we know it's specifically... Actually, I can just set a breakpoint on this. Let me try to trigger it. Let me try to do it again. No, that's not triggering. It just triggered that, yeah. I'll show you where it is. Look at this. Well, now it's there, but... It already knows what you want to do. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Shouldn't. It's like even this, it's not even in there. Triggered by the previous one falling. Yeah, but it shouldn't because the previous one is getting destroyed. And it's updating it. If I'm not mistaken, it's updating it based on the new one that should be about to fall in there, even though it hasn't yet. Let me try to trigger it with these two. Yes, it's getting it correct. it's not even, now I don't have the trace wasn't even working properly either. Let me check one thing. Let me check one thing. Let me check the widget root box. It's gonna look a little weird. I need to give it its mesh back. Yeah, but that's not causing it either. That's not causing. Like, it's not even close. It's not even close, and we can try to. Now it's like it. Let me get my trace state. Let me see what my trace state is doing while I'm in that. Let's tick our trace state. Where's my... Oh. We need to print for a little bit. Why is it not printing? Where's my print? Oh, because we're still... Okay. Anyway. There we go. The trace state is correct. Let's debug the trace. Weird. All the trace is hitting the object. This trace state is correct. So all the logic that's needed to I don't know. It's triggered when you remove something from the cauldron. The small. Yeah, it's really weird. But it's not just triggered when I remove something. It's triggered when I go to quickly pick it up and put it back in. I don't think it's even triggered if I try to do it slowly. It is triggered even when I try to do it slowly. It's like the moment I begin the... It's the moment when my trace hits the cauldron. It's precisely the moment that it hits the cauldron. Why? Oh, it's because really, this shouldn't be an and. What this should be is probably just this. Which it's fine. Fine. I won't get too upset. I just want it to work first. No, 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 no. There's no way. Nothing's hitting it. There's no way. The only thing that implements the interface is the ingredient. But I can guarantee that the ingredient has not hit that collision box. There's no way it's hit the collision box. It's nowhere close to hitting the collision. That's not the collision box. Cauldron checker. Look at this. It's down here. Block all dynamic. What about the cauldron? What if you wait a moment for the object to stop simulating physics? Let me check one thing. So I'm wondering if I'm wondering if there's some calculation for that. Let me just check the cauldron physics first. Let me give it a real quick check. It should be fine, but let me check. Where the fuck did I put this? Here it is. Okay, the mesh, cauldron mesh. I don't need to check the mesh, I need to check this. No, it's blocking all objects. Happen if you wait a moment for the object to stop simulating. Well, it's gonna simulate physics the whole time that I have it picked up. Or do you just mean wait for it to stop on table? I mean, there it seems like it should have stopped simulating physics. And now even the trace is bugged for some reason. Yeah, it's like doing this bugs the trace, which is really, really weird because it shouldn't be. We check the trace is hitting, or it should be hitting. What the fuck is going on with this? And it's weird, it's not when it's hitting the the cauldron, because actually everything gray here is the cauldron, right? And this has a collision too. It's almost specifically when it's hitting, when the almost, if you could line trace directly through the entire mesh here, it's almost hitting the edge of where that box begins. But I don't implement the ingredient interface. You know, let's just double check 100% to be 100% sure that the only thing that implements the ingredient interface is the ingredient. Maybe there's something fucked up. No, you reference it. Don't tell me you implement it. No, you don't. You don't implement it. Okay. I mean, that would have maybe made sense, but no, you don't. You just reference it. You don't reference it. Let me check my suspicion here. If I move this cauldron checker, I'm just gonna copy its transform too, so I put it back. I move it here, so we should be able to drop things into the right side of this to add them to the table, or to add them to the cauldron. I can drop things over here just fine. I think it's proving my theory correct, because now I can move it over, and if you do a trace right under where the cursor is at the moment that it fucks up, it's hitting that box. But it's not like we don't perform the trace with the ingredient. The ingredients have like barely anything here. Full tip visibility. Really weird bug. Maybe something with the dragging? I don't know. I mean, it is fucking up the click. But I'm also kind of curious what happens if we... Yeah, this for sure, I think... Okay, there's a couple things I want to test. First, I want to see what's happening to... I think it might be related that I can't... The trace is fucking up afterwards when it shouldn't be. Oh, I'm not printing that. I'm stupid. All right. Perfect. It it sees the actor. But it's not setting the type. It's not getting the item type. Why is the object invalid? Class unknown. What? Yeah, but you're printing the actor class just fine, right? No, it's... The hell? It thinks I have an ingredient picked up. Okay, that could absolutely be part of the problem. It thinks I have an ingredient picked up. Why? When do we set it to be false? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Well, I think it's related. I think there's absolutely a relation. Okay, when do we set it? We set it to true when the player has picked something up, an ingredient, if it's valid. And we set it to false when the player has dropped it, has completed the click, but not if the ingredient found is valid. Let us try setting it here too. Best place to do it. I mean, it doesn't hurt, because if we don't have anything picked up, then, or if the ingredient that we found is not valid, then you can't pick it up. So we can also set it here when it has entered the Cauldron. We can just, you know, destroy actor, ingredient found, nothing, has ingredient picked up. I don't think this will cause any bugs. And this should just make sure that extra safe, we set that correctly. Still causing the issue, but fixes the trace. Okay, so we have fixed a separate bug at least. Not the worst thing in the world. It's good to know at least they aren't connected now. They aren't connected issues. But that doesn't solve the other issue. Let's do this. Let's put... Okay, we tested that. We fixed a bug that was unrelated. I wanted to test the other thing here, which was the ingredient found. Because if this doesn't... if this doesn't get nullified, then that could be a potential issue. And that's just updated when we pick something up, because that's the one that we have found. That's fine. It's creating a new object. No, it's getting nullified. It's the weirdest shit in the world. Give me a sec to hit up the bathroom. I'll feel better after I empty the bladder. Give me 1 minute. No, I want to close. Shit. The thing is, too, it's it's setting the, when I drag, it's setting the location to the hit result of this, kind of hard to see, but this hovering collision box. Which is, just also just above the cauldron, but not, of course, not inside the cauldron, and certainly quite a ways above the cauldron checker collision box. I think it might even update the, that's camera switch. Drag. We could get the hit component, the overlapped component. It would be other component. Let's print when this happens. Let's see if it, I don't know why we didn't do this sooner, but let's check which component of which actor is hitting it. That'll give us the fucking culprit. Not do that then. Cube. Widget? It's the widget? What? Well, we don't need to generate any fucking overlap. I don't need any of this shit. I hope. What? I think that fixed it. I mean the widget. It hovers above. What are you talking about, the widget? It's what? The widget? I mean, that seems to have fixed it, but how was the widget doing that? Like, it's attached to the root box, but the root box is constantly updating itself to the location of the static mesh. I guess only when it's hovered, right? I mean, that's what that gray box is, right? And that's just used as a it's just used to lock the constraints in place for the widget. it's a really weird method, but we're giving the widget physics in a sense in order to lock its constraints. Oh, it's underneath. Why? Fuck me, that's so weird why it's doing that. Problem solved. Jesus. I mean, I don't mind that it goes under there. It doesn't cause any problems. Like I said, it's just it's just there to provide some extra controllable parameters for the widget, but what a weird bug. What a weird bug. Never expected that. Oh, mystery solved. What do we actually want to do in the little bit of time that we have left? Because that took up way more time than I thought to fix that issue. Technically, our removal aspect is working. We in-world UI for Cauldron contents. I want it to be a bit better. I could make it so that when you're in this mode, you can't click it like that. I don't think you should be able to do that. Let's try to do that. And I think that's just gonna be, that's pretty easy. I think we just disable the, yeah, when switching that camera state, we can enable or disable the widget interaction. Actually, where is it? No, it's in the alchemy table itself, isn't it? Yeah, it's the widget interaction component. Oh, we already do it. We do enable hit testing. We enable hit testing when the player starts and ends alchemy, right? Yes. We perform this. Let's set this up to be a macro. Create a new macro. Toggle or update widget interaction, and that'll just have an input boolean or the enable. What a dumb bug that was. What a stupid bug. Oh, we need execution notes too. It should go above. Execute. And then. Good enough. Okay. Put macro. This functions. Where's my macro? Go. Copy paste. We can delete these. enable. Disable. And we'll do the same with camera switching. So when in ingredient mode, disable. And in these states, we can enable it. Okay, let's put one in, and it can still be used. Why? Shouldn't be. Probably because enable hit testing actually doesn't disable it. What would do it? I guess we could just change the interaction distance to 0, right? Let's try that. We can still change tick. But this can probably just be oofed. Interaction distance. Oh god, I know that if I ever update it and I don't put a variable here, it's gonna get fucked up. So let me create a float variable for widget interaction distance. And we'll base the true off of that. I know that if I ever need to change it in the future and I don't update this, there's gonna be a bug and it's gonna take me 1.5 years to figure out. Let's be smart. I say as I manually type it in. I meant to type it in here. And on begin play, we can just set this. Fine. Okay. Let's see if that worked. It didn't work. Do we ever close the tick gate? Maybe that could be part of the problem. Where's my events? Okay, probably shouldn't have put them on here, but it's also okay. It's not failing to hit that, but why does it not? The interaction distance should be 0. So I don't know why the fuck it's not working. The tick gate is closed, it shouldn't be ticking. Why can I still interact? Sorry. Sorry. What the fuck's going on? Is this not where we control widget interaction? Not in the player character blueprint. I mean, I could just switch it to a different trace channel, I guess, right? Kind of a stupid way to handle it, but... I mean, if I just use the... Or just like switch to interaction source custom. I don't think that'll work then, right? It just won't. But it's still working. Is this even needed? Do we even need the widget interaction? Let me switch it to something that I know for sure is not. Yeah, it's just like receiving any clicks because we have set input mode to game and UI. It's considered UI no matter what, so probably even the widget interaction is not needed. It doesn't work. Well, we could put there's a way we can get around it. Kind of cheaty, but in this ingredient info panel, no, I don't want to do it that way. I don't want to do it that way. It would work, but it's kind of dumb. It wouldn't be good for us to do it that way. I think when switching to oh, this is actually a little bit more annoying than I thought it would be. Like I could just put a dummy button or anything that consumes input behind the ingredient panel. But then now I have to hide and unhide it, which is kind of annoying. And it's like starting to spaghettify code a bit. It's a dirty trick that would work, but only if I didn't have any other solutions. And I think I have other solutions. I mean, I could make a slightly safer option is just making a. What do we have here? We have the alchemy HUD rep. I mean, I could send an interface message to disable those buttons when we're in the camera mode. That's also a lot of shit just to do one thing. There might be other cases where it would be nice to now that I think about it, it might be nice if there were other cases, or to have, if there were other cases, a panel that consumes input. I mean, we can't tell it to focus this widget, right? Because it wouldn't do anything. Because we have all this extra space behind here. Placing like a big button behind here, for instance, that does nothing and doesn't have any visuals, it would essentially just do the same thing, or anything, like a panel that consumes input. Anything invisible but hit testable, essentially. Okay, let me do that then. We'll just do it this way. Canvas. Actually, just wrap it with. Size to content, that's fine. Not custom on screen. Layered on full screen. This over. Big ass, I don't know. Do an image even too, right? Anchors, full screen. Brush. Visible. It should still be visible and hit testable. You can actually even do hidden, because no, hidden is not testable. Yeah, we just need it visible. We'll make sure that it is behind in the Z order. And yeah, if we collapse, this should work. Yeah, it's consuming input. It's also consuming the button because it's different Z order. problem solved. Not in the way that I wanted to, but well, we can refactor it if we. Oh. You guys see this? Look at the Now, I apologize. I know some of you are real. But there's also a lot of people here who are not real. And I don't know which ones. Probably most of the ones that I think are not real. And I don't know which ones to ban. I'll probably just like wait till really late at night and then just get rid of the ones that are still there when I'm not streaming. But yeah, that's weird. Just started to do that yesterday too. What if I'm being like embedded anywhere? No, that can't be the case. Where would I be embedded? I don't know. Yeah, but then they would count. They would count as viewers then. They don't count as viewers. Because if I like pull up Twitch on private.
Drooling. I'm not your dinner.
Oops.
I'm the
Oops. Oh, careful. Or let me just look up software and game development. Oh, damn, there's some people with a lot of views. Where am I? Definitely not that high. Yeah, it's like 5 viewers, right? So 5 of you are real. And a lot of you are not. I don't know who. Okay, so we did this. We in World UI for Cauldron contents. It's okay. This part, this aspect of it is complete. But I kind of want a little bit more on this because we also wanted it to calculate our, you know, like the potion that's actually being created in there, right? Based on the ingredients that are currently in the cauldron. So that's going to be probably our next step. The good thing is that is just going to be a UI panel similar to this that we just kind of pop in here, right? And it's, of course, it's meant to represent some immersive object that we're going to place there, right? Some, you know, magical object, but obviously that's going to have a UI, and this is what it's meant to represent. And I put a big box behind there so that if you try to place an ingredient in, it doesn't like that, right? Tooltip kind of goes wonky, doesn't it? Sometimes it can get knocked out, but it is what it is. I wonder if I could actually grab it if there was one outside of the table. Could I actually grab the ingredient? Who knows? Who knows? Well, I don't want to get into anything big then for now, but we could just start to map out. Well, we can update the stream calendar, which I need to do. Because we're doing Talos for the foreseeable future, right? But we're also splitting these up, so what I could do is unmerge. Where's my unmerge? Let me unmerge these. I need to unmerge. And these are going to be dev streams. Oh, damn it. Wait, I thought today. Oh no, because on Friday we did dev stream 9 technically. That's right. This was technically dev stream or 8. No, 9. Wait. What the fucking... Today's dev stream 9. Friday was 8. What did we do on Thursday? Hold on. Guys, what did we do? What was dev stream 8 not on Thursday? Check the tapes. Channel. Day 8 was 3 days ago. That's Friday. So when was 7? 4 days ago. I don't remember what the days are. Okay, obviously first day was Friday. Was that Friday? Okay, 2 weeks ago. On to, I can actually just check when these were uploaded, can't I? Great, I'm glad that that's ranked number 1. Let's see. Haven't gotten any copyrights on those too, which is nice. Date October 21st was DevStream 1. What was it? Well, that's when I uploaded it, okay. Since then I was uploading it on the day of, yeah. Okay. DevStream 3, 25, 26, 27. 27 was 5, yes. The 30th was 6. Oh, we missed 7. That's why. That's the only issue. We missed 7. 7, 8, and then this is 9. Today's 9. That's correct. Beautiful. And I think we'll have at least need those to be Dallas Principal 2, not 3 and 4. Don't think Crow Team can work that fast. We're just gonna keep going until we finish it, you know, because it's pretty fun. We're having a fun time with it. The OSRS League, which I am going to be playing, will be this day. And we're gonna be doing a bit of that. It's going to be on like the side because I can AFK some of that. So we're going to be kind of switching back between development and that. But probably all day that day we'll play it. And this might continue, I imagine. I don't know how many days we have left of that, but we'll have fun. It's a good month. Good month of stuff. December, I don't really know if there's any big games releasing, so... But I do want to do the GOTY ranking stream, which will be sometime in this time frame. This is just the placeholder date. Might do it a little bit earlier, but it also depends on weather and yeah, we'll see. I think we'll see what we want to do for the rest of the alchemy after we get the alchemy system in place, because then I want to see if we have any inclination of, I don't know, if things on the table that we can, you know, put the ingredients into to change their state, if that's what we want. If we want it to be kind of like a big hub for doing things. Like maybe up here you can crush them or cut the whatever. Some magical drying machine, I don't know. I also want to see if we would like to have like maybe an ingredient shelf that we can look at and select the things we want to add to the table, or if we want to grab them manually and put them on, or from like our satchel. Like, let's just kind of organically grow this out, refactor as needed, and not be afraid of refactoring even though it takes time, because that way we can expand, we can add things without screwing up the base of this system. I dropped my cat. So while it doesn't really say that we have, it doesn't say we have a lot to do next, it just means we need to kind of see where things are going. But I think what we have right now is great. It's definitely working as intended. Obviously, we still have the issue with the trace just being slow. Kind of updating slow, but we aren't having a problem dragging things from one place to another. It's a little bit jumpy. So that's something we can always have like a, you know, some programmer take a look at and see if they can address. What's interesting? And we have another bug. Just found another bug. I think I know why it's occurring. Yes. Yep. If you pick up one and before it falls in, you pick up another, it's switching the ingredient that's been found. So we just need a more robust way of... We need to essentially set the ingredient that you're dropping as the one that we're actually doing all the logic to, rather than using ingredient found at all. But I'm gonna mess with that next time. We're gonna mess with that tomorrow. I'll put it here though. Wait, where's my to-do? I'm not gonna forget it, but I might forget it. So make sure Cauldron checker logic does not use ingredient found variable. Fucks up when quickly dragging new item before other has fallen in Cauldron. Okay, we'll fix that bug. That way we have a solid base to work on, and we keep going forward. This looks good though. We made some good progress. We had a lot of fun with Talos Principle. We will be back. Ooh, did they update the... Oh, we have an update too for Unreal. Did that just come out? Oh, they are currently updating their free for a month because it's a little bit bugged. It looks like we're gonna have grocery store props collection free for the month, maybe. New marketplace. Yeah, they're updating that as we speak, so we'll see. Nice. There's some potion icons for free. That could be useful for prototyping. Sorting array. Interesting, okay. I will not get too deep into this. Always some good free stuff though, right? Oh, they're adding them. It's a low poly town they're adding. Not gonna be useful for us, but kind of funny we can watch them add it in real time. Near real time. We'll check them all out tomorrow when it's actually up and when they're set to free. But for now, I'm gonna get going. Thank you so much, everybody, for showing up and helping me with puzzles and with with Unreal. Both are a bit of a puzzle game sometimes, right? So thank you so much. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow for more Talos Principle 2 and development of Cauldron Chronicles. If you haven't yet, please follow the Twitch if you want to get updates and help us reach affiliate. Join our Discord, sub to us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter. We post some stuff on there. So thank you so much, and I will see you guys tomorrow.